And we're on to exercise 10, which is the flour sack falling. And right here it says loop or hitting the ground. Maybe it meant to say loop or hits the ground. I'm not too sure, but anyway, let's focus on the flour sack falling. So I'm going to open up Synfig here, and let me just zoom out to show you what I have. So I placed this tree here because I want, the idea is that I want, as well as these shrubs and the road. So the idea here is that I want the flour sack to maybe fall from, let's assume that there's the top of the tree is somewhere up here, and it falls from the top of the tree, hits the branch here, and falls to the ground. Okay, so that's the scenario. Now I do recommend that you storyboard out your scene. So you could use maybe Krita or a program like MyPaint or even Paper just to storyboard out what you want to happen within your scene. I'm not going to do that though, because I think it's more fun to just go straight ahead here. But we'll be doing pretty much the same things here, which is moving the character, you know, altering the pose, add a keyframe, altering the pose, add a keyframe. Now, one thing that we haven't been focusing on is the flour sack here, the volume and the weight. Now, so far, what I've done is I've animated the flour sack as if it had nothing inside there, so it looks very flat. Okay, now because I've been doing that, I'm just gonna continue along those lines. So let's pretend like the flour sack is empty. Okay, but if you want to practice, you know, maintaining your volumes and weight and stuff, you need to actually pretend that there's something in the flour sack. Let me just begin here. So for this, I'm going to change my keyframes to constant and turn on the animate button. I'm going to open up my flour sack here, and I'm going to just move the entire shape here, these two layers, all the way up here, like so. Now, for my purposes here, I'm just going to sketch out where I want it to land. So maybe it falls here, hits the branch here, and then lands on the ground here somehow, you know. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have it continue along these lines here. Okay, let me zoom out a bit and go back to my move tool here. So now we need to add a keyframe, and I think me just moving it should have added some keyframes, but if you want to be sure, just make sure you move those points again just to be sure. And I'm going to be animating on twos here, so I'm just going to move down the timeline here. I'm not going to worry about the poses yet. I'm just going to work on the movement for the flour sack. So I'm just going to move it where I want it to go, and then I'll focus on the poses. And I'm not sure how fast I want it to go either, but that's part of the fun here. Let me just move this and move it here. Okay, I think it did a bit of a curve there. So let me actually just reposition these. Bam, bam. Move this over like so. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. And that should be okay. Okay, so let me take a look here. Let me just hit the preview button. And okay, that's definitely a bit slow, right? So once it comes into the scene here, I'm just going to have it speed up a bit because it is falling from the top of the tree here. So let me move it down, and maybe it hits the branch here. Ooh. And then when it gets here, maybe it actually stays on the branch for a while because it does hit it, so that would obstruct it for a moment or two. I'm just going back and forth just to check where the flour sack is. I'm gonna move forward here, then yeah, it begins to move. So because that obstructed, it'll probably slow down its momentum for a bit, and then of course begin to move fast again. So like so, like that. Let me go back here. Maybe it actually comes here. And I think I'm gonna have a bit fewer frames here, like so. So let me remove these 3 frames here, and for that, because I have 2 layers here and we're dealing with 2 different sets of keyframes, what you want to do is select the overall group so that you are able to see all the keyframes of each layer within that group. Otherwise, if you have both of these selected and you should delete one of these keyframes, it will only delete the keyframe for one particular layer. Okay, so I'm going to just select the group and delete these three layers there, these three keyframes, sorry. And let me preview this and see what we have. Okay, that is looking okay. So it tumbles there, and then it drops. All right, so let me just go ahead and work on those poses now. And it's there. Maybe when it's here, it rotates. And I'm gonna rotate it a bit more. Then I'm gonna come down here and rotate it. So we're continuing along that line there. Rotating, turn on the onion skin to see what we have. That is looking okay. Let me move down here. Rotate that like so. Even more than what we have here. Let me move it over. And here on the flower sack lens, I'm just going to edit the pose for that right now. So I'm just moving down the points here and moving the points here like so. And let me turn off onion skin here so we don't have too much going on there. And it falls here. So I think I want it to fall like this. I want to create some amount of perspective here. So I'm going to have this leg come this way. I play it back and forth. I fell. Okay, and let me move. I think I'm having too much fun here. Let me zoom in here and move this line into position here where it needs to be. Okay, I should have left this line out because it's just extra work now to move it back into place when I'm done. Okay, and I'm just gonna work my way back down. Let me move up to the top here, and now we're going to work on the poses. So here, so I think I'm gonna leave it there. Yeah, I like that. Okay. All right, so that's it for exercise 10. Remember to post your result into the Cintiq forums or onto the Cintiq forums. Oh, and by the way, if you don't know how to export your animation as a GIF, just go to your render button here and you want to change the target to Magic++. Okay, and there you can see the GIF, and then you can choose where you want the file to save the file. Give it a name here. As you can see, my name is exercise_10.gif, so you can change the name. You can go to the time here and you can tell it how many frames you want to render. So for my purposes, I changed the timeline to 40, so I might want to just go ahead and change this to 40. And you can alter the quality. I think it goes up to 9. Yeah, it goes up to 9 if you want, or you can leave it at 3, but you can do your experimentation. And once you're done with that setup, just click render and it will render out that GIF, and then you can easily upload the GIF to the Cintiq forums. That's enough of boring you. So I will see you in the next exercise. Have a good weekend.